go. We got a few minutes left. It's about 5 till. So if you are watching this as a recording, you can go ahead and fast forward to the content if you would like. But we are going to, I was just sharing with the early birds on here about the Soar audio app. If you haven't downloaded it yet, it's free. This is the newest and greatest technology. Many of you were on the webinar a couple weeks ago where Clint shared how to use it. Well, it is up and running. It's available through the Apple Store and through Google Play. And what's so cool is these webinars, often when you are in a meeting and you're on a webinar, think about every Zoom meeting you've ever held. You can now, through the Zoom app, and if you download it, and then if you want, you get so much for free. And of course, if you want a subscription and create your own channel, we have that available. But bottom line is for free, download it. And I put all these webinars into a playlist that's called Coach Uplift Weekly. And I share it to the public. And so you can find Coach Uplift Weekly and you can listen to it. And you can click a cool little button on here that says, I'll show you it from last week. So there's a button for Google Assist or Alexa, and we teach you how to connect it to your Alexa. And you just click that and it'll start playing. I've unplugged her because she always talks all day long when I'm talking about her. So if you haven't downloaded it, if for anything, you'll have these webinars at your fingertips and you can listen to any of them, but there's other cool playlists on there. So public playlists. So like there is Scott Harrison, Charles Handy. We have some Peter Drucker stuff. So it's kind of like when you go to Alexa or Google Assist and you ask it to play a song and it does it. Now you can do it for learning topics. How cool is that? So we've got it. So I hope you download it. If you haven't done it yet, go do it. And today, so we have, how much time do we have? We got about 2.5 minutes. Today, though, I'm very excited about the subject matter today, and it's one of the biggest things that I get asked. So I'll do my official introduction here in about 2 minutes, and we'll get rolling. 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗁, hi, long time no see. I still can't see you, but I follow you on LinkedIn. So congratulations, you are just rocking and rolling there in Omaha. So nice to see your name. Hi, I love coming here. Oh, hi, Nate. Hi, Nate. By the way, Nate, I got your email and I'm forwarding all your suggestions on. So just so you know, so thank you. And yeah, the answer to your question is yes, eventually. So you're the only one that knows what I'm talking about. But thank you for just supporting and being on that original audio app early adopter team. And if any of you want to join that, we ran a special so you can actually have your own channel. That's like 1/3 of what it's going to be as we develop it. So just if you're interested in that, we have around 30 people on there right now. I'm guessing we'll get to 50. So yeah, nice to see you too. Good. Well, sometimes I think I share too much on LinkedIn, but I'm glad that you watch it. Yes, I remember when I met you in Omaha. Yeah, that was fun. The good old days. Well, now we're rolling. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I think we'll do the official start here. My name is Shari Strong, and I'm the Vice President of Community for Soar.com. And I know we have some people on here that are either new to coaching or you're new to Soar. And this is a free service that we offer. We just want to help. Our passion is helping coaches and helping consultants and helping organizations meet up with coaches. And basically it's to uplift humanity. We believe, and I personally believe, one person at a time, we can change the world. And that starts with ourselves. What's so cool about all of you is you like to help other people too in the form of coaching. And coaches have a special place in my heart because I know what it takes to really develop those skills. I have got my coaching certificate back in 2011 through iPad Coaching. I'll give them a little shout out. And went through other coaching certificates and gotten certified in many assessments, and I've been coaching myself, so 10 years now. Before that, I was in sales, so I coached sales teams, maybe unofficially, but I considered myself a coach, not a manager. So these topics that we cover every week basically are tools, techniques, tips to help you grow your business, help your skill set. Sometimes we'll have other coaches on here. Last week we had 2 coaches on. I have reached out to some people. So you guys are going to want to make sure you tune in, because we will have some really special guests in the coming weeks. But if you have an idea for a topic or a question, please send it to connect, CONNECT, at Soar, SOAR.com. And that comes to me directly, and I get to see all the comments, questions, so on and so forth. This week we are going to be talking about, let me click this. This week it went back. This week we're going to be talking about consulting calls that convert. So the purpose of this is to understand the value and the structure of a consultation conversation so that it converts to a client. Now, some of you are internal coaches, but you still need the buy-in. And it is a buy-in. Often with organizations, they utilize coaching as something that is used more as a punishment than a reward. And that's another mission we're on to create, is that change that perception. Coaching is a reward. The top people that you should work to be able to get a coach. So that's one of the things we really want to help all of you, is change the perception out there in the world. The outcomes today is, I hope you understand the mindset of what you need when you go into a consulting call. We're going to talk about the structure of it, and then how do you close it? Now, here's the thing. This is interactive, even though it's not interactive. I can't see you or hear you, but I want to hear your questions or read your questions. You can use the Q&A, but if you just put it in the chat, that's great. It helps me out. If you have a question, or when I ask a question, please, let's lean into this. You get out of it what you put into it. Some of you are probably excellent at these calls and have some tips that you could share with everyone else. So we are so glad you're here, glad you're joining us. And so now how we're going to get to those outcomes is we're going to be covering their mindset. We'll cover your mindset. We're going to go over the conversation itself. We will cover pricing. And then how do you close it? Because this is one of the biggest questions I get when I've coached coaches over the last 10 years is, how do you talk about pricing? Or how do I price myself? Or I don't like to sell. Oh, I love it when coaches say that. So if you've said that, right? Yeah, that's me. Hey, Kat, go ahead and write that. That's me. I don't like to sell. Or man, I've learned how to overcome that. Let me know if you have any of those feelings, because this is going to be for you. By the way, we will be done in 30 to 45 minutes. I like to keep these under an hour because most of you are on your lunch break. I want to give you time to, get a bite or take a breath. So we will be done at the latest 1/4 depending on the questions that we have. So good to see all of you. Let's get rolling. So first of all, mindset. What is the mindset that someone has when they reach out to you? Yes, what it is difficult to charge. We'll talk about that. So what is the mindset that someone has when they reach out to you? So if on the Soar platform, there is actually a button that says you can be live right now. Now, not everybody has that enabled, but if you are in your office and you say, hey, I am online right now, chat, call me, talk to me. It's awesome that you can have that available, because in the moment, somebody might be thinking, man, I really need a coach. And especially this time of year, more people think about engaging with a coach this time of year than they do any other time of year. So it's like anything else that we do, weight loss, join the gym. Coaching is in that same realm. So what is the mindset do you believe people have when they reach out to you? Anybody have any ideas? Okay, so here's some questions. I'll give them to you. So now you're getting the feel for this. Number one, they're going to be in their head, will this coach be able to help me with XXX, right? Yes, they might have a growth mindset. They also might be skeptical. I would hope that if they've pushed the button, they have a growth mindset, but they still may have some skepticism. So you really want to be aware of these things, because I think not knowing and understanding what people are thinking when they come to see you or talk to you it brings up fear, right? And if we have fear, starting a consultation call, that's one more thing that stops us from closing it. And we'll talk about your mindset in a minute, so I don't want to jump ahead of myself. But they're going in their head, they're going to be thinking, "Man, I wonder if this, I wonder if this coach will be able to help me with this. I wonder if Jeff will be able to help me with this. I wonder if Lori will be able to help me with this." The other thing they're probably wondering is, if you don't have your prices on your website or posted somewhere, how much is this? Can I afford it? Valid question. Now, I think as coaches, we'll say things like, "It doesn't matter how much it costs. It's worth it." I call it you'll love it approach. Often we go into corporations, and that's a whole nother seminar, but I call it the you love it approach. "Oh, just trust me, you'll love it." Well, people want to hear that, and you can sell with passion, but they want to know what the results are, right? The CEO of the company wants to know what the return on the investment is going to be. Same thing with an individual. Think about when you were going to buy or purchase an item. What's in your mind? Is this going to solve my problem? How much is it? Those are all relative. Those are all valid questions. And often I think when we're on the other end and we're supposed to answer them, it's like we want to avoid them. But always think, what would you ask? So it's natural that they would want to ask that as well. And then they might be asking, what is their experience? Coaching, there are so many awesome, wonderful coaches in the world. Anybody listening to this is an awesome, wonderful coach. But there is also, there is coaches out there, that aren't so great. Now, here's what I'll just give you my quick blurb on that. Coaches, it shouldn't affect your mindset at all. You want to come to it from a place of abundance. Bad coaches don't get hired. Bad realtors don't get hired. And it has nothing to do with the services that you provide. Yes, the coaching industry has increased in 2020. I read a number that increased by like 21% last year, something like that. I mean, it was huge. So, but it has nothing to do with your services. It's no different than any other industry. There's good, there's bad. It shouldn't stop you from advertising and doing what you'd love to do. So they're also going to just think, "Man, do I like them? Do I connect with them?" Yeah, you got to believe in yourself. And yes, we have strengths coaches on here, but if you're a DISC coach, if you're a John Maxwell coach, if you're an IPAC coach, if you're an ICF coach, whatever type of coaching you want to lean into that type of coaching and that ideology and philosophy, because it's going to come across. So they're just going to ask, do I like this person, right? Do you connect with them? It matters. So that's the mindset that you always want to keep in mind when somebody clicks that button to talk to you, and be open to that. Or they are like, "Hey, can we talk sometime?" Or, maybe you're good at giving consultative calls. This is what you want to be aware of that. Now, here's where your mindset should be. And this is where the big struggle comes in, I think. It's not about you, right? It's not about you. So if you're coming to this where, "Oh my gosh, I really need to sell this one. I really need to have a win. I really need the money. If you're going into a consultative call that this could be big, I'm going to encourage you to really rethink or get a coach yourself, because that tells me there's something there that you're missing, you need help with. A coaching call, any coaching call, but especially the consultative one, at the beginning is when we right? Once you're in the coaching relationship, you've already got the contract, you've already sold them. Now it's easy to be in that it's not about me mode. But you got to have that same mindset in the consultative call. This is not about you. This is not about big. This is not about small. This is not about paying my electricity bill. This is not about, you know, I need to do this because my spouse doesn't believe in what I'm doing, or I started this coaching business, or maybe you've been doing it for a long time and you're just struggling with where you want to go. You've got to really come into it. It's not about you. And if you still struggle with that, again, I encourage you to get a coach yourself. Coaches need a coach. I have a coach. So it's not about you. You want to come from a place of service. When you do that, you should just go, you know, roll your shoulders back and take a big breath, and you can just be in the moment. Great, we're just having a conversation. The other thing is you are not trying to sell them. Now, you might be thinking, well, then why am I doing a consultative call? Because it isn't about that. It's about the 4 questions or other questions that they have. It's about this, answering their questions. Will this coach be able to help me? How much is it? What's their experience? Do I like them? That's the 4 main ones. So if you answer those questions effectively and you connect with them, they will want to work with you. So you are not trying to sell them. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, some of this isn't new to some of you, but some of this is like, oh, I needed to remember that. Bing, right? Your pricing, by the way, isn't about you. It's about the service you offer. And again, we'll cover that very quickly or at the end. Yeah, appreciate the reminder. You're welcome. I know it's so, especially right now. And it's not just last year. Like I can tell you over the 10 years of coaching, you know, opened a business, closed a business, sold a business, did this, got a contract, worked with the John Maxwell team, did work with, like it's up and down. Life is up and down. So it's not about you. We all have needs and wants and why we're doing this. But I promise you, if you start to let that go, no matter where you're at in your business, you'll attract more people to want to work with you. All right. You know, you like the bulleted list. I have achiever for those strengths, so I am a list person. So those of you who are strengths. Now, here's the thing. If you're not quite sure what you do for people, this is a great thing that you can write down, maybe take a screenshot of this, is make sure you understand what you do for people. So how do they feel before you and how do they feel after you? Like, what do your clients have before your experience with you? What do they have afterwards? So maybe they have insecurity before you, they have confidence after. Maybe they feel like a failure and they feel accomplished after. Maybe they don't believe in their skill set, but you show them where they're valuable after. So this is a really important thing to keep in mind, not only for when you talk to customers and understanding who you work with, but for your own mindset that this is what you're doing. Your job, I have an opportunity right now to speak with somebody, to teach them and to coach them so that they feel like this afterwards. This is, you know, why I am here. So here, let me look over here real quick. Another question that comes up with client mindset is, how will this be different from all the other coaching services? Yes, yes. You know, they want to know what makes you special. I think a lot of that is being able to be yourself. You have to be authentic, which means it's not about you. You got to be an authentic coach, and that shows up. That's why I love Zoom coaching calls and consultation calls. The other thing is when you're using the Soar platform, the Zoom integration piece, and it'll be done by the end of January, where it'll actually record everything and translate it for you or do a transcript for you. Go watch it. It's one of the hardest things to do is watch yourself do a consultative call, and you just tell them, listen, I record all my calls. I'm the only one that sees those. I share them with my clients. Do you mind if I record this one? If they say no, they say no. Most of them will be like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And then on the consultative ones, go back and watch them. It's just like if you're a speaker, I've had to watch myself speak and speak badly to get better, and sales and all of those things. It's the same thing. This is a skill set. So for your own mindset, what sets you apart is your authenticity. Your authenticity and being able to be present in the moment is what's going to set you apart. So how does the conversation go? Let me double check my time. Oh, we got plenty of time. Okay. So ask away. The conversation, right? I mean, first it's going to be some small talk. Hey, I usually say, hey, does this time still work for you? If I called them. Now I will tell you, and if it's a Zoom call, obviously they're on there already. So you're going to do some, how's your day been? Glad you can make it. You don't want it to get into a 5 to 10 minute chit chat, but you do want to, glad you can make it. How's your morning been? Fabulous. And then it's your job to start it, right? So I like to start with, and if you have a way you like to start your calls, please share them in the chat so everybody can see it, and I'll make sure I record it so those of you who are listening to this recording will hear what somebody wrote. But I like to always start it with, what led you to reaching out to me? Now, maybe it's today, maybe it was last week. What led you to reaching out to me last week? Just curious. So there's transitional phrases, and one of them, you can't overuse any of them. This is your bonus. People love bonuses, is I'm just curious. I'm just curious. What led you to reaching out to me last week? Now be you, and you're just having a conversation. I hope all of you feel that right now. So if I was talking to Tammy, I'm just curious, what led you to reaching out to me last week? Yeah, what would you like to talk about today? And they'll usually come up with things. The key here is get to why they reached out to you quickly, right? But in an authentic way. You are in charge of this call. So now here's why they might reach out to you. Here's one of them, right? I always use I'm just curious as one. Yes, I'm just curious is a good one. And it's natural then for you, but those of you who that doesn't come natural to, write that phrase down. I'm just curious. So they may say, hey, I was just curious about pricing. That's all I want to know. So some of them might have a wall up, right? All I want to know is what your pricing is. So how do you handle that? Well, totally understand you're curious about pricing. I would be too. And I have a lot of options, individual sessions, packages, and we'll cover those. Before we go there though, the price doesn't even matter if you don't like me. The price doesn't even matter if this isn't a fit. So I could, charge you $5 or I could charge you $500. It really wouldn't matter if I don't think I'm a good fit for you and you are a good fit for me. So what are you hoping, what are you looking for in a coach, or why did you really reach out to me last week? See, dig in, right? Use your coaching skills. You guys have coaching skills. Now, depending on where you got your coaching certificate at, some coaching schools are, that's what I will say. So, and there's a difference between coaching and consulting. Consulting, people want you to give your input. Coaching, it's about asking, but as a coach, there will be times that you consult. And I always ask permission. Now that's a whole, again, another kind of segue off of the subject matter, but before I give advice, I'll say, can I offer a couple suggestions? Because that's actually consulting. And in any conversation, you could be doing both. And it's really important that you understand that. I've met a lot of coaches that think consulting is coaching, and it's not. Is it advisable to show the price of your programs on your site or not? I love this question. That's a personal preference. I've done it both ways. I don't do it as much anymore. And I still have a website up and stuff, but I don't coach. I'm working full time with Soar, but I do pro bono counseling for my church, and it's the same thing. So, and I have a sliding scale for that because I'm also a pastoral counselor, but I don't show it. And the reason is now I am confident in my ability to have this conversation that I don't need to show my prices. In the beginning, I showed my prices because I think it was more out of fear that people won't want to. And here's what I'll tell you. If people are buying coaching based on price, I'm not their coach for them. Is there coaches out there? There's a whole website, I can't remember what it's called, and they have like $25 an hour, or $35 an hour. I don't look at that as good or bad. They're serving people that need that. Fabulous. Is that me? No. So you have to decide where you stand, and are you comfortable having this conversation around pricing? If you're not there yet, then you might want to show your prices. Does that help? I don't know if that answered your question directly. So if they do say pricing, you don't say you're trying to hide it. In fact, I'll send you all my packages. We could talk about them here today. But and here's how I handle it. But if you and I are not a good fit for each other, the price doesn't matter. Does that make sense? And they'll usually be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's first decide if I'm a fit for you and you are for me, and then we'll go from there and I'll show you all my packages. How's that? Great. Any questions on that? This part of the pricing and how you handle it? Does it sound, do I sound salesy? Did I sound salesy when I said that? And if you're listening to this recording, be thinking in your head, does that sound salesy? If you're listening to this on your Soar audio app in your car, does that sound salesy? I don't know, you guys tell me. It shouldn't. If you're authentic and your goal is to serve them and come from a place of service, it won't sound salesy. And practice this. Some of you will be better at this naturally, and some of you, it takes a little practice, and that's okay. That's okay. That's why we're doing this call. Now, then do some coaching. So if they say, thank you. Okay, it's a great point. Yeah, build integrity. Now, whatever they say, you dug in and they give you an answer. So, you know what? Let me just ask you a few questions right now about that subject matter, because this is really how our conversations will go. Why is that so important for you to handle this year? Or, whatever they said. Why, how will that change your life if you invest in yourself? Because coaching is an investment. If you invest in coaching to change that one thing, how will that change your life? Now, I will often say, because this is my belief, and I hope it's many of your beliefs as well, is that, yeah, here's a good one. Do you have the support you need to achieve that? Yes. So do you currently have the support to achieve that? What do you have in your life right now? Once you get really good at being comfortable in a coaching conversation, you won't get so hung up on the questions that you think you should ask. There really are no right or wrong questions, as long as you get them to think. So why is that so important to you? What will change in your life if you address that now? Why are you willing to invest in a coach? Now, they may say, I want to fix this. Oh, that's where I was going. They may say, I want to fix blah, blah, blah. I love at this point, because it shows my values and my beliefs, is saying, well, I just want to let you know, I don't believe anybody is broken. So a coach is not here to fix you. Everyone just has a level of self-awareness around different subjects. Some of us are really more self-aware and have a great grasp and knowledge around financial situations. Some of us are really good at communication. And some of us just need to raise our awareness around it. So the reason I love to work with people, and I think people love to work with me, is I don't believe you're broken. So we don't need to fix anything. We just need to raise your awareness around techniques that can help you with communicating or managing up if it's in an organization. when you share something like your core belief around people and core beliefs, it comes across very authentic. And I've had clients literally say, I love your approach. And you can just see that, because you remember, they have fear, they have something that's going on inside of them. They already might feel less than. They could be an executive that has been told, you better get a coach or you're going to get fired, right? You don't know everything, most likely. So to say that to somebody is, listen, I want you to understand, I don't believe anybody's broke. I believe we have bad habits. I believe we've been taught incorrect ways in which to react to life. My job is to help you raise your awareness around what it is that you want to grow in and get better at, but you're not broken in it. We got to reroute how you think about it and how you react to situations around that. And it just sets the whole tone. What are some other questions that you might ask? So do you have support that you need to achieve that? Thank you, Kat. I love that one. What other questions can you think of? And if you're driving right now and listening to this recording, be thinking of questions that you would ask in this moment. And of course, it really depends on what the situation is that they want to get coaching around. What would success look like? Great. That's a great question. Thank you, Carolyn, especially in the coaching consultation call. So what would success look like? What would the next 6 months look like? What do you hope it looks like after you hire a coach? Get them to start visualizing, right? That's what you're doing. Love that one. Thank you. And if you guys keep thinking of them, keep putting them in there. So then once you do that, here's one more. What's getting in the way of you achieving what you want? So what's getting in the way of you utilizing that? Or what's getting in the way of you improving on that on your own? What's getting in the way of, right? So now keep in mind, write these down. If you haven't done a lot of coaching, or if you're just getting back in the swing of it, whatever your situation is, it's very imperative that you know where you need to improve. You don't have to fix anything, just improve, and then practice that. Go do what you got to do to improve your skills. Now, once you do that, I'll usually do the transition into, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. Thank you for that. So you said that what's getting in the way of you achieving that is blah, blah, blah. You know, I have been coaching for 11 years. I have coached executives. I have worked with prisoners. It does not matter your title, gender, who you are, where you are. My specialty is helping you get at the mindset behind things and coming up with a plan to help you get out of your own way so you can achieve that. One time, and I usually will give an example. So I had a client one time that was in your same situation. They came to me with, they had anxiety around telling their boss they're going to quit. You know, we come up with, you want to come up with something that either relates in the exact thing, the money, or the result. Here's what happened. Within 3 months, they had homework. I do give homework, just so you know. They had achieved and they had followed the coaching advice. They did their homework. At the end of that 3 months, they were able to actually have a mature conversation, went to their boss without getting hives on their necks, and they got what they wanted. Or I've worked with parents that don't know how to have a tough conversation with their child, or some grieving parents. I have a woman that I worked with for 6 months where her spouse had passed away and her child had passed away 4 years earlier, and she was just really stuck in life. And now what she's doing is she's actually writing a book that she had wanted to do 20 years ago. So kind of give an example. You don't have to go into it deep. We're not talking about a 5-minute dissertation on everything you do. You also don't want to say, well, I've worked with this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. when it comes to credibility, you can say, I've coached how many hours. It's about building a connection with that person. So if you know they're coming from a large organization, I've worked with people in the large organizations, just like yourself, who've come to me outside of that company because they were struggling with the same types of communication problems. And usually, again, I don't believe anybody's broke, so I'm here to help you take your communication from here to here. Things like that, yeah. What skills, talents do you have that you are most proud of? What makes you happiest or feel accomplished? Yes. So share an example. Now, here's one question I get. I haven't coached somebody. What if I don't have experience? What if I'm not a doctor and I don't know medical terms? You don't have to. So what coaching do you have? Like I said, I've coached executives and I've worked with people in prisons. That's how I cover it. And because coaching isn't about so often people want coaches in a specific field. Well, then usually what they're looking for is coaching/consulting. True coaching, you don't have to have experience in what they do. And you can even ask, why is it important to have somebody have that experience? Well, I was looking for somebody to make sure that they had experience. I saw that you did this, but I didn't know if you knew this. And answer it. I don't have that particular experience. True coaching, though, it's not about what you're doing. I'm going to help you navigate through it. Now, if you don't have hours of coaching or tons of credibility, or you just started, here's what I want you to do. How many people have you worked with in the last 5 years where maybe you're a sales manager and now you're a brand new coach? Maybe you were in corporate world and now you're starting your coaching company if you're listening to this. What do you have? I have worked with hundreds of salespeople over the last 10 years. Own what you have. I had a coach that taught me that back in 2011, and because I was scared to, brag about what I had done. It's not bragging, it's stating what it is. I helped this company go from 25 million to 600 million in 8 years. And I was like, well, I didn't do that. You're right, I didn't. She's like, Shari, you helped them though, did you not? I was like, yeah. She was in this position, this position, this position. Yeah. Guess what? I helped a company go from 25 million to 600 million in 8 years. I can say that now and own it. So what do you have? I always forget my corporate experience, coaching MDs. Yes, I have so many years working with this field. I have led teams, which is essentially coaching because we had to give feedback. So I have 10 years experience of working with, if that makes you feel better. So go find what you do have. I mean, I have helped coaches or worked with coaches. They were stay-at-home moms and they're like, I'm going into coaching. I started out in I was in college and then I stayed at home and then now I'm doing this. I'm like, how many, and one is this one lady I'm thinking of in particular, she was like the volunteer queen. She was the, head of, what's the name of the organization now? It's slipping my mind, but it was a very credible organization that helped the community. And then she volunteered with her PTA. And guess what? I have over 8 years of volunteer experience working with people and getting them to buy in when we didn't pay them. Like what do you own what you have? Now, see, I could talk about this all day. All right. So any questions on this before I move on? Because this is, it's kind of, some of you are thinking, man, I've been coaching for 5 years. You're right. I need to pull that back out and own it. Absolutely you do. Take an inventory of what you have and what you've done. All right. And so now you're going to get into the packages. So now you're there. You're like, well, I tell you what, I will tell you the way I like to do this. I feel like I'm saying I a lot, but in this particular training, it's totally my experience. So when you go into your package and prices, I usually will stop after this piece here where I share my experience, and I will say, what other questions do you have? Now, if they didn't bring up pricing earlier, they will now. And if they did bring up pricing earlier, they'll say, oh, well, then all I need to know is how much are you? I like to try to transition it so that they ask me and I'm not pushing them on them. So the way you do that is you just say, so what other questions do you have? And pause and sit back, take a breath, let them ask you and let them think. And if they don't, after a few, awkward, and it may feel awkward, seconds, oh, pricing, then you can say, do you want to hear about it? Do you want to see the packages? Don't just show them, because then, oh yeah, what is the pricing? See, now they just said it. Okay, then when you get to it, you can say, the hourly rate is, stay away from, I hear this all the time, my rate is, stay away from that. You want to say a coaching session is $150 a session, $150 an hour, $200 an hour. Does anybody know the reason why? You psychology majors, do you know why you do that? It makes it so it's not personal. And it's easier for you. If you are uncomfortable talking about rates and your value, this is your workaround. You're going to make it this thing. You're going to pick it up, and I want you to imagine it on a plate. And thank you. I'm glad you're liking this. And like you have a package on the plate, and you go, and the package is, right? Like Price is Right. No, but you say a coaching session is $150, which includes 55 minutes. I always make them 45 to 55 minutes. I don't say an hour, because it gives me, because then what happens is, this is psychology, okay? This is my counseling psychology. You go an hour, or you go 50 minutes after 45, or you go 55 minutes, and now you just gave them extra value. And now they leave going, oh, she stayed on an extra 5 minutes. See how you do this? Build your value. That's not manipulative, because this is called building value. And you are giving them, if your rate is $200 for 45-minute session and you give them an extra 10 minutes, now they leave feeling like, wow, she gave extra time to me. Do it. So you have the hour, but price it at 45 to 50 minutes. Okay, I have a Q&A, and forgive me, I don't know, I didn't see it pop up. What about clients who have no specific goal or desire to commit? They just want to explore. How do you measure success? What about clients who have no specific goal or desire to commit? They just want to explore. So this is interesting. I'm not quite sure what you mean. So somebody is, because see, that sounds like therapy to me. But if somebody is hiring you to do basically weekly coaching, so what you're saying is they don't have a long-term goal. Just every week they come wanting some coaching. What I would say is just, what do you want to get out of today? I've had clients like that in the past. I will tell you, they're not as fun for me because I am goal-oriented, but it's not about me. But you also don't want to have 10 of them, because if it's not something you don't like to do, then don't do it. But if you have a couple, you always want to measure, right? The blank to worth ratio, if you will, right? Yes, that's therapy. Yeah, I'm careful to say that, because you will have coaching clients, they live by the seat of their pants. So then it's really important, I think it's that you set that 45 minutes, 55 minutes up with, great, what do you want to get from today? And coach them on it. Laser coaching. That's really more of a laser coaching type relationship than a long-term. Hey, if that's what they want and need, it's not for you to judge. But if you don't like coaching that way, then you shouldn't be coaching them. but it's really about being present and not judging them, right? If that's what they want. Does that help? I hope that helps. Okay, I have a client who did a program with me for 6 months and he wants more coaching now, 1 year later. Should I offer some discount in this case? I wonder. Let me read it again. I have a client who did a program with me for 6 months. And he wants, why would you want to give them a discount? That would be my question. Yeah, laser coaching. Why would you want them to give, why do you feel the need to give them a discount? That would be my question for you. See, I think that's more that you feel like you want to give him a discount. If he wants the coaching, usually discounts are given because they're new or, hey, they've been with you 3 or 4 years. And you're like, you know what? I just want to gift you. Now you're not giving them a discount. You're gifting them a discount. Yeah, right? And feeling better. And if you decide to give a discount when they come back, you're not giving it to them. Again, reframe your own words. It's gifting. You know what? I would like to gift you with a free session on this package. I just appreciate you coming back to me. So it's reframing our own ways of thinking around pricing. You're going to gift him something. So if you feel the need that you want to give him something because he's coming back to you, great. Are you giving it to him because you feel like you need to? Like, oh, he came back. Yay. See, that's coming from a place of fear that you might lose it. Or thank you. Thank you for coming back to me. I would love to gift you a baker's dozen. Instead of 12 sessions, I'll give you 13. Thank you for remembering me and coming back. See how you reframe it? And now you're not devaluing your services, you're adding value to your services, and you're still honoring your instinct to honor the fact that they came back to you and you want to thank them. It's all in our own heads. Yeah, or give a bonus. Yes. So again, it's not my rate is, I think that just sounds so arrogant in my opinion. It's the coaching session is, or 3 packages are, and you can pull it up on the screen. That's a cool thing about Zoom. I can pull it in and say, here, I have it ready for you. Any other questions about pricing? Because I know that could be, there's a lot of feelings around it. That's why anything you could do to take the feelings away. And Yvette, I hope I answered your question too about people who are at the laser coaching, right? The people who don't have a long-term goal. Evaluate who you want to coach and then just don't judge them if that's what they want. Your job is not to judge people as a coach. It's to coach them. All right, we are cooking with fire. I love this. How much time? Oh my gosh, see? Now I went too far. So it is 1:45. We have a couple minutes. So I'm going to zoom through this and I will stay on afterwards. Those of you who want to jump off, but I will stay on for Q&A. So then it's what other questions do you have? Hey, how soon do you want to get started? What's keeping you from getting started today? Here's the other thing. If they're like, oh, I'm just not sure. I love this one. So those first 3, but I want to make sure everybody gets this before you hop off. How sure are you? Because they'll be like, well, I'm just not really sure. Well, how sure are you? If they say anything less than 50%, you ask them, what would it take to get to 50% sure? You need to talk to your spouse. When will you talk to your spouse, right? Like it's okay to keep asking them questions around it. If they don't commit to you, you can't help them, which is why they came to you in the first place. And if you can't coach them through this decision, that's what you're doing. You are coaching them through the decision-making process of committing to coaching. And as long as you start with an authentic mindset, it's not manipulation. It's such a fine line. But if you're authentic and you truly believe they need to do this, here's the thing. If they say anything over 50%, you say, you know, that's interesting. Most people want, here's this is your bonus. This is your guys' bonus. Anything over 50%, most people want 100% surety. You came here asking questions. You did all your questions get answered. All I'm going to offer you is you only need to be 51% sure. That's all you need. You don't need to be 80, don't need to be 90. You just need to be over the 50% mark, because that's where we make our decision. Either we're going to go this way or that way. And if you're 51% sure you're going to take that path, then you're going to take that path to get on the path. You only need to be 51% sure to move, take a step forward. And that's what I'm here to help you do. And then say, you know what, let's go ahead and just schedule your first one. You don't even have to have you don't have to have them commit to the pricey, you know, to payment yet. Say, what days work best for you, and pick up your phone. And here's the other thing. If you're doing Zoom, get the Soar audio and you can upgrade, and then you can create a private channel for them and share their Zoom meetings, your Zoom coaching meetings with them privately. Some of you on this call are already in that early adopter special. If you guys want to, and they're helping us learn and develop this over the next 3 weeks. It's all exciting. If you want to hear more about that, email me at connect@soar.com. But that's the cool thing about technology today. So that is, then you book it, send your intake form, link to pay, schedule it if you didn't do it already. Now, if some of you aren't on the platform and you're still looking for coaching tools, we have a very inexpensive coaching tool platform, and it's just under 20 bucks a month. It's the things that you need to get started: reviews, a blog area, a calendar tool, Zoom integration that's getting upgraded in the next 2 weeks, all for under 20 bucks a month. It's unbelievable. So anyway, I will stay on. I understand that if you guys have to leave, if you listen to this recording, I will stay on also. Thank you for joining. Tune in next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And I might have a special guest next week. If not, I've got a topic in mind. I'm hoping I can get this person on. Just tune in every week. This is free to everybody. It's free to the world. Invite your friends who are coaches. So I will stay on. What questions do you have? Comments? Was this helpful for you? Thank you for joining today. Very helpful. Thank you. Do you feel more excited about coaching? Nice to see all of you. And if you have good stuff, yes. And if you have topics you want to learn about, email them to connect, CONNECT @soar.com. And then go to soar.com/plans if you want to try out you can try it out for free. There's a free trial, 30 days, but download the Soar audio app if you haven't. You are welcome, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye, guys. Invite all your coaching friends. Bye.